Hello everybody, Iain Robson here. Welcome back to an episode of Ravenport FS19. Alright, we've got a couple things going on today. We're running a bit low on cash, so we're going to go ahead and do a harvest right here. So that's already on hard worker, so we need to harvest some of our grass because we are in the minuses. And the only way we make money at the moment is by doing a little bit of silage. Which is a bit of a lengthy process, I suppose, but not too bad. There we go. And I don't know what happened with our little laneway we made the other day there, but it kind of got, I don't know what you can call that. It kind of got misplaced, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. Guess we're going too fast. I don't know. I think what's going to happen is once the server resets, it might fix it, but for now it's still kind of, it looks like I made something, but not really right now, so I think that's what's going to happen. So once the server gets reset, I don't know if I ever showed this or not on camera or not, but I end up purchasing this particular forage harvester, the Krone Big X. This is one of the modded ones. It's the cheapest one that we have on the server, so that's the reason why I bought that. And then I got the Capello head, which is apparently the head that goes with it. So that's the reason why I went with that combination, because for what I'm doing, it works fine. Also, there was an update. I don't know if this is caused by the update or not, but it looks like there's a huge, like, I don't remember having it quite so low like this, so I'll have to keep an eye on that. I don't know what the deal is there, but I noticed that and I was kind of like, alright, whatever, that's kind of odd, but fine. So, I'm gonna have to leave that alone for the time being and see what happens in the next server reset slash update. So, I don't know. Sometimes those strange things happen like that, so. Anyways, so the way I do the VGA like this is I just I don't get too fancy with the way I drop it off in the actual bunker itself. I just make sure I'm able to tip it into the bunker and then I go over after the fact and level it out a little bit. So that's the way I've been doing it, at least. Alright, just finishing up the first road load, I should say, not the last load.
I think it went for 38,000.
There we go. So like I said, I don't get too fancy with the unload process here. I basically just drop it off. And usually I try to start at one end and then go to the other end. So, for example, start right here, as close as I can to the wall.
48,000. I forget which.
And then start unloading there. Now, one thing you do have to be careful about is if you start unloading too far out of the bunker, it'll turn to grass, and you got to pull it into the bunker, which is a bit of a pain, but just the way it goes sometimes. There we go. First load done. And you don't have to get too fancy with the whole compacting. I usually just do it at the end. It's not too long. It's a slow, well, either way it's a slow process, but it's not like a crazy long process. Let's just say that. So, alright, let's start on load number 2 here. And usually we get about 500,000 liters or so. It just depends on the fertilization. So right now, the bottom half of this field's not fertilized because it was taken as hay a while back there for Liz, for her horses. So, just didn't get fertilized for whatever reason, so, which is fine. It's not the end of the world, really. There we go. Get started on load number 2. So what will happen is once we hit this section where it's fertilized twice, we'll be able to, it'll be probably like every 2 or 3 passes, I would say. It's a full load, basically. Something in that neck of the woods. Right now it's about 4 passes or so, 4 or 5. Still working on the second load here. Just moving along. Almost about halfway full or so. Just more than halfway full, I guess, now. Because we can hold 52,000 liters, I think, is here. So it'll be 26,000, I guess. Liters will be the halfway mark on the load. And like I said, once we get past this point, it'll start being a bit quicker per load, at least. Alright, that's load number 2 done there. So I can see you're taking quite a big chunk of the field already, even though we've only got 2 loads. But remember, each one of these loads is 52,000 liters, basically. There we go. Start right at the end there. What I try to do is I try to go over part of the my last pass, basically, just so I compact it a little bit, and try and keep the windrows, I guess, as close to each other as possible, basically. it just helps, basically. Helps it keep it closer together, and because there's a certain point where you'll get to where they'll be like, yeah, you cannot, insufficient area or something like that to dump here, so you have to kind of keep an eye out for that. So by keeping it relatively compact, you kind of somewhat reduce or eliminate that problem, so which is nice. I think we're now into the fertilized section here. Yep, just about. Kind of half and half at this point. One of the neat things I discovered about the shredder a while back is that you can actually lower each of the sides on it. So let's say if I want to lower, that's the front, here we go. So you can lower that side right there if you want to do silage like that. I don't know if it changes the actual I don't think it changes the actual capacity, but it's kind of like a neat little feature. So if you want to lower that side down, because that's what you'd probably what you'd have in real life. You'd have one side like that. But in reality, in the game, it doesn't make a difference at all. We're almost done this load here. Another 52,000 liters. So now we're up to 150,000 liters. So it doesn't take much to kind of get up to 500. So that's kind of like where we end up, where we usually end up at the end of the field. 500, 550,000 liters, depending on whether it's all fertilized or not, basically. So there we go. Get this unloaded right here. There we go. Like I said, and the reason why I try to kind of keep it close together is because what will happen is eventually get a warning saying, you know, it's too full, even though it's really not. I'm not even sure what the maximum capacity of this particular bunker is. I think it's fairly high based on how big it is, but it doesn't actually say. So I've gotten up to a 500,000 liters without a problem. So I'm pretty sure you could probably put 1 million if you really wanted to. All right, here we go. That's load number 3. So this will be load number 4 starting on here. Just finishing up load number 4 here. There we are. Just under 200,000. Perfect. There we go. So that's going to be 200,000 liters. So we're about halfway there, which is fairly accurate because if you look where the hard worker is, A, on field number 7, he's about halfway through the field just about. So that's how I've been gauging it, at least. 200,000 liters, about halfway. 250,000 liters, I guess, would be halfway. Just under halfway, I guess, so that's the way it works. Excellent. There's our nice little shed we put in there. I do like that shed, actually. Although I still think I'm a bigger fan of the drive-through shed, but that one works just as well. Left a little space in behind there in case I need to put something back there. There we go. Get lined up here. There we go. Start unloading. And ideally you go forward at the same speed, so that's consistent for every pass, but I definitely haven't been consistent because that's why it's some are shorter than other ones, basically. There we go, perfect. It's a slow process, but you know, it gets the job done eventually, and it's pretty consistent money, which is nice. So when you unload the whole bunker, I think it's about $110,000, something like that, which is pretty good. So it's a good chunk of change. And if you're wondering why my money is going down there, I have another worker on a contract, basically. So there we go. Perfect. Next load. All right, that's our full load there. What is that? Load number 5, I guess. Should be at 250,000 liters, looks like. Somewhere in that neck of the woods, at least. Let's bring up their information, just double check. Yeah, so 200,000, just over 200,000. And with this, that'll put us over around 250,000, so that'll be good. Looks like Spud's off for work. There we go. Finish that last little section off there. Good. Excellent. So I got another 5 more loads to go. Don't know if we'll be able to finish this.
For me to get going. Have a good day, Ian. Have a good evening.
Yeah, you too, Spud.
Thanks, Bud. You too.
I'm not sure I'm going to be able to finish this all before work, but made a little bit of money here, so that's always good. And, yeah, it's funny, because, like, one thing I've discovered is, like, this is consistent money, but you have to consistently stay at it, too. So, like, every time it's fully grown, you should harvest it, sort of idea. And then, of course, you make the most money possible, but I'm not always on the server, so I can't always do that. And one of the funny things we discovered is that you can do it without a hired worker, but that means you need 2 people, right? Or you have a trailer behind the forage harvester, which can be a bit slow sometimes. So those are your 2 options basically when you can't hire a worker on the field. And I don't know why they haven't made it so you can allow people to hire a worker. So for example, with Liz, it says you're supposed to be able to hire assistants, but I don't know if that's because, I don't know. I'm not sure why. But she has a contractor status, which I don't know if that. I'm not sure if she was on my farm, she could hire assistants. I think is what's the case. Like if she was part of my farm and not her own farm. I think that'd be the way it would work. So, as opposed to having her own farm in this scenario. So I think that's the way it works in this situation. So, haven't messed around with it too much. Like we all have our own farm sort of thing. I have mine. Country Gaming's got hers and Spud's got his sort of thing. So I think that's the reason why she couldn't hire a worker on the field, or he couldn't hire a worker on the field.
Doing some foraging, Ian.
Yep. Just trying to. I don't know if we'll be able to finish up the field before work, but we're getting there. So.
That's alright.
So here's an example of that. I just had it. There you go. That's an example of the error you get when you try to dump something not in the right area. So, and then you have to kind of jiggle around a little bit sometimes, and you find the right area. What's that saying?
I thought I'd better move the cultivator before the seeder comes up behind it.
Oh yeah. Alright, that's the last load for me today, folks. And look at that.
Would have been 100% by now, but it's only 52.
Contract and field 8 done. Good, so now we're actually in the positive. Excellent. Well, for the time being at least. I don't think it'll last very long, but we're in the positives for the time being. Alright, folks, that'll be it for me for today. Didn't quite get this field done, but we're pretty close to it, so I'm gonna have to leave that for next time. Basically, we'll come back and work at it then. So my name is Iain Robson. I hope you enjoy. If you like what you saw, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button for some more FS19. I'll catch you guys later.